What's up, internet? My name's Ori. Welcome back to the channel. It is Saturday, August 17th, day number 33 inside the Big Brother house. Did we have boinking number 1 of the season? Also, will the real Showmance please stand up? And Angela is losing her mind once again. Let's talk about that, plus all the intel, drama, and more from yesterday's live feeds. But first, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button. You like this video, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. To give you guys a little recap, if you haven't been keeping up with everything going on inside the Big Brother house, Tucker won HOH after a wild blindside eviction on Cedric. His potential nominees this week were looking like Quinn, Brooklyn, and Cam, but Brooklyn would be his actual target, not Quinn, the person he's had a huge rivalry with since trying to get him evicted 2 weeks ago. Now, jumping into not just yesterday's feeds, but let's flash back to not last night, but the night before. Did we have a boinking? I'm leaning towards no. I don't think they fully boinked, but that is the big question of the day. Tucker and Rubina last night, while in the HOH room, talked about what happened the night before, and it seems like they had a little celebration in there. They were having a good time. Lots of heavy cuddling, but they also mentioned about having, strength to keep it from going further. They tried to be very, very coy about it. At one point, Tucker was laying there. He had his mic on his chest, and Rubina's laying there next to him in bed, and he's like, "Do you have your mic on?" He's like, "Well, yeah, I was going to ask you something." She just grabs his mic and throws it. I don't think they fully boinked, but they definitely had some fun, and it could be coming in the future. So we'll keep an ear out for that. It was funny because during yesterday's live update, we do Friday morning BB26 live updates every Friday. You get to kind of chat afterwards as well. It's the same update that you always get every single day, very short, to the point, getting everything out there. But afterwards, we get to have a nice little chat. And we actually got to see some of this play out live because Rubina left the HOH room early, and she was kind of sitting downstairs, and we were like, "Is Rubina okay?" Somebody in chat was like, "Rubina's just like up right now." And she was kind of staring at the memory wall. Looks like she was going through a lot of thoughts in her head. And it's probably a little bit of that will and strength that she had courage up to hold back from going any further with Tucker. Other than that, though, let's jump into what happened yesterday. It was nominations day, and the nominations were what Tucker was kind of saying he was going to be. Quinn, Brooklyn, and Cam. He told Quinn, like, "Hey, you're a pawn, but if word gets around, you will become the target." He told Chelsea and Brooklyn, even Cam, that if they need to have a replacement nominee, it would be Chemo. And for some reason, they bought that. I don't know why. I don't know why they think that Chemo would be the replacement nominee. It would be Chelsea if they need one. And Brooklyn is still the main target as of now. Cam would be that backup target if Brooklyn happens to come off the block. Speaking of Quinn, who seems to have somehow found himself in a decent spot where he probably won't be voted out this week, he was hurt by not being included in the vote flip. He ended up having a conversation with Rubina where he kind of chatted about everything that had happened, how it happened the way it did. He explained Pentagon and the collective. He should have trusted Tucker, he said, and he should have just had that conversation, but it was really hard after everything that happened, and it would have probably ended up being a much smoother week for everybody. But that was just kind of an interesting little convo that they had. Also, Tucker and Chemo, they were there for the conversation as well. This wasn't just like a one-on-one with Rubina, but I also don't think a lot of this information is good for Tucker and Chemo. Like, I feel like the more stuff that comes out about how deep they knew about the Pentagon, how deep they knew about the collective, what their thoughts on the vote was, I think it all is bad for them. The more info that comes out, the more people are looking at them like, "Oh, okay, I see what's going on here." And Tucker and Chemo, they've been telling everybody like, "Oh yeah, it was a split-second decision to vote out Cedric," which, to be fair, I think it kind of was. As indecisive as those two are, I really don't know if they actually knew they were going to vote out Cedric until the moment they made that choice right before the vote. And they didn't mention how they agonized over this decision for days, though, which they did. But I do think in the moment, that was kind of like, do we do this or we don't? Do we do this or we don't? There was a moment where the two of them made eye contact as the vote scramble was starting to happen. We saw them have conversations with everybody. I actually can't wait till tomorrow's episode where we get to see kind of a lot of those little convos. It's almost going to be like the episode after a double eviction where you get a lot of that stuff that happened during the episode that you might have missed. So I think that's going to be really interesting. But they've been telling everybody that. Meanwhile, Joseph had a little conversation with Decor, and he's like, hey, yeah, I wanted to like talk to you before I started talking to other people about why I voted the way I did. And I was going to tell them that I had a conversation with you. And that's what convinced me to do it. So Decor says, yeah, that's fine with me. But again, if you're telling people that this was a split-second decision, you're not telling them that, yeah, we're thinking about this for a couple of days, and then eventually we made the decision. You're now letting Joseph go tell people that's actually what was happening. So again, a lot of this information that's getting out there is not good for Chemo and Decor because they're the ones that come off as the snakes and the sneaky ones now. And I think more and more people are starting to catch on to that. Speaking of Joseph, he now basically thinks he's Dan. He thinks he's Joseph Gheesling. And does he have a point? Hold on. So one of his big things was he was saying he threw the HOH competition, so he became a have-not, and then he gets sympathy, just like Dan had done before. But the thing is, if you kind of think about Dan's BB10 run, he started off pretty hot with his kind of ride or die Brian. Then Brian gets sniped week 1, and Dan kind of has to crawl back from this and reestablish himself in the house. Joseph, I felt like started really hot and was in a great spot at the start of this game. Then he slipped after all the Angela and Matt stuff happened because Matt thought that he was involved with getting Angela to do that. Angela thought he was like in Matt's pocket. So he ended up kind of slipping down and kind of becoming not really in a great spot, right? We do our allegiance charts and he started really high and went just falling way down. But at this moment, it feels like he actually has found himself in a decent little position. Yeah, there's a few people who are kind of looking at him here and there, but he's got numbers. He's got people that would keep him around should he end up on the block with most people in the game. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of interesting that, you know, he's calling himself Dan. And while we have yet to see, that actually happen, it's kind of interesting, right? Where there's parallels. There are parallels to Dan's first game that he played of Big Brother. Joseph's got a long way to go, though. You got a long way to go. He also is really kind of over Quinn. He was telling Tucker how he always has to correct Quinn on all the different BB trivia that they're doing and stuff like that. So that's kind of a fun little rivalry going on there, even though they have a final 2 situation. Something else kind of interesting, speaking of Joe, Chelsea and Brooklyn, they both are getting to the point where they want to call Joe out publicly. They are tired of his stuff. Brooklyn actually ended up, though, having a conversation with the core, and she says, listen, you know, you and Chemo, I can see you're the real showmance of the season. Like I said, people have picked up on Decor and Chemo. They're always with each other. They're always doing stuff together, and they are really a threat in this game. We also had MJ, the original showmance in this game. She had joined the vote flip for Cedric, but it feels like somehow she seems to have gotten herself on the other side of the house after the flip. She's probably got her best connection with Chelsea at this point. And it's just kind of funny that she ended up going along with the Cedric vote only for her now to end up on the opposite side. And yeah, it's just kind of a thing. Her and Chelsea had a talk kind of late at night talking about Chemo and Decor being that threat. They say they're always saying the same things in conversations, like they rehearse it, and that at the end of the day, both will be weak without the other one. So I wouldn't be surprised if at some point they're getting thrown up there together and one of them will end up leaving the game. So yeah, they've really made a big hole for themselves, and it seems like it just keeps getting deeper. Leah, let's talk about Leah. She seems like she's just vibing in there. She's just having a good time. That wasn't until she had a slight breakdown. She was up in the HOH room with Chemo, Rubina, and Decor, and she was going off about Brooklyn, Cam, Chelsea, how they're all mopey and pissy after the vote flip and the nominations, how they think they're better than everybody, how there's like bullying behavior. She was going off. She was really going off. They were all trying to comfort her and make her feel better. But speaking of mental breaks, let's talk about Angela. She's already complaining about not being able to sleep in the have-not room. She was talking to Tucker about Chemo and T-Core ignoring her every time she walks in, and how this is an issue because they're in an alliance now. And she's like, they don't even, acknowledge me. This is building. This is building. This week, I think we're going to have another Angel blow up. And on top of that, on top of all the stuff that she's already going through, today is her birthday. Now, if you remember, they actually gave her birthday stuff early last week. And we kind of mentioned, like, that's kind of interesting that they're giving her a whole birth week. We saw the return of the birth week after Jasmine created them. Maybe even a whole birth month for Angela. We'll have to see how it goes. But we wondered, like, that was kind of interesting. Someone brought up in the chat yesterday during our update that it all makes sense. BB knew that she was dropping first. They knew she was going to be a have-not this week on her birthday. So they threw her a bone. They were like, listen, get your celebration in while you can, honey. And yeah, there's a chance. There is a very strong, high chance, because we had a bunch of the girls last night decorating. They were putting up streamers. They were working to make slop cookies for Angela for her birthday. Just really, really trying to make it as special as they can, because she can't have cake. And there's a legit chance we might get them making a slop cookie cake. We get a full Keisha's birthday. Anybody want slop cake? Anybody want slop cake? Huh? We could be in for that. So keep an eye out for all of that as well. Oh, I also noticed I never updated my board for the nominations. There you go, Cam, Brooklyn, and Quinn. But other than that, let's go talk about our allegiance map for this week. A little bit of changes. And what's nice about these is, kind of daily we can go through and kind of make changes that we kind of see fit throughout the season. This is kind of how I see things kind of laid out right now. A little bit different than yesterday's after the full split. Definitely that split house. Even MJ and Leah, as much as they kind of get like put together, they really don't play together, but I feel like they need to stick together if they really want to make it through here. But they're down at the bottom. I also have Cam right there next to him. I feel at this point, nobody really goes to Cam and be like, oh, what do you think about the game? What do you think we should do next? Just like with Leah and MJ, nobody really does that with them or takes their thoughts into consideration. They were in the spot that Decor and Chemo thought they were in, whereas Decor and Chemo really were in great spots before the house flip. Same with Brooklyn, was in a great spot before the house flip. Now, I'd say they're probably at the same position in the house now, just on opposite ends of it. I even think Angela is slightly above them with social credit. I think she is someone that nobody's really going to be targeting anytime soon, and also has the ear of some people like Tucker. I think Tucker will trust Angela's opinions way more than he will trust Chemo and Decor's anymore, because he knows about how sneaky and behind the scenes they're playing the game. It's kind of interesting. Above them, though, I have what might be, it's so crazy to say this. What might be the 3 best players that we have left in the game, Joseph, Quinn, and Chelsea, kind of on that next level above, where I think Joseph has the ear of a lot of people, especially on that side of the house, like Tucker and even Rubina a little bit. And I think he also got Quinn kind of wrapped up, but he doesn't view Quinn as a great ally anymore. He just kind of keeps him around just to kind of keep him happy. He knows that Quinn really messed up not taking that deal from Tucker, and he's kind of slipped into Quinn's spot that Quinn used to have of being in a really good position where a lot of people are kind of around him. Yeah, there's people that might be coming to take a shot. Brooklyn, Chelsea, even maybe Cam probably would take that shot. MJ, I think, talked about throwing Joseph up there too. But I just don't see him leaving over almost anybody that they put up with him. I think he would end up staying. The only way I really see Joseph leaving is if it's like Joseph versus Angela. Yeah, they would vote Joseph out. If it was Joseph versus Rubina or Tucker, if it was Joseph versus Tucker, they would vote Tucker out. If it was Joseph versus Rubina, that might be a little bit tough because you would have people like Tucker, Angela, Chemo, Takor, who all might vote for Rubina to stay over Joseph. Same with like Brooklyn and Chelsea. So that might be a difficult position for him to be in. But again, like that's like one example of all of the people that he could be up there with that would cause trouble. And then you got probably the second real showmance. Chemo and Takor kind of are showmance. Like I said, people are looking at them that way. But Tucker and Rubina have found themselves kind of at the top of the pile with everybody. Even people like a big part of it is Tucker having HOH right now. After he doesn't have the power, maybe that all kind of changes and people will start being like, yeah, we do have to go after the 2 of them. But as of right now, so many people are looking in other directions because of all of the other stuff that happened. For the most part, Tucker and Rubina weren't really part of a flip per se. They were already on that side. So nobody's really necessarily mad at anything they did. And they're all looking at Chemo and Takor and Joseph. And those are the options that they're thinking of. They're also still not trusting Leah, who has kind of drifted over to that other side as well. So it feels like they're actually in a great spot, Tucker and Rubina, after everything has been said and done. Other than that, it was a pretty calm day. Like most people were very exhausted from just everything that's been happening, just emotionally from the competition and getting ready for potential veto competition. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. House dynamics have completely changed in the last 48 hours since Cedric was evicted. And I'm loving every minute. A good power shift and shake up in the game is always very much appreciated in Big Brother. And this season just keeps on giving. Thank you guys all so much for watching. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, you made it all the way to the end of this video. Smash that like button. Hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. Like I was saying, we do Friday mornings, a live stream update, just like this one, where I kind of talk to you guys about everything that's been going on. And then afterwards, we join and jump into the chat, and it ends up being a good time. I'll do the update for about this amount of time, and then we end up talking for almost 2 hours with the chat. So it's really fun. We also do live watch-alongs for every eviction episode. Make sure you're following for all that stuff as well. Check out the description, pinned comment, for links to all of my socials, things like Twitch and Kick. They've been quiet, but with Big Brother season, it dominates my time. Hopefully I can get those kind of going as well. You can check out things like my Twitter and Discord. Great place to keep track of like when I'm uploading videos. If you're not getting the notifications properly. Plus, we're also doing a fantasy football league. So if you want to get in on that, I think we've got 7 out of 10 spots filled up so far. If we need to expand that, we can, but get on in the Discord. You can find the link for that in the sports channel. Plenty of other really cool spots to kind of talk about all different things going on, whether it's the new season of the challenge. If you want to talk about that, there's people talking about that in the Discord as well. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.
Ah! Crisis averted.
Thank you.
Why? Why? Oh, why?
You can tell yourself.